Thank you for visiting my channel, Medical Assistant with Miss K. My name is Kendra, aka Miss K. I am a medical assistant instructor. I teach both clinical and administrative skills. So a little while back, I did a video giving some feminine hygiene tips. And the reason why I did that is because, first of all, this is something that I talk about anyway with my students. I talk about this. I have a teenage daughter. I talk about it with her. And it's just something that I know some girls and young women aren't taught or aren't taught at all or weren't taught growing up. And so I just felt like it was very important to talk about that on this channel. And so after I did that video, I had a few companies reach out to me, wanting me to review their products and things like that. But one company in particular stood out to me, and this was because I did some research and I realized that this company is very much backed by healthcare professionals. Like I saw so many doctors, gynecologists, and pharmacists recommending this product. So I said, you know what? Let me check them out. Check them out on Amazon as well. They had over like 20,000 positive reviews on their products. So I said, okay, let me check it out. And it just so happened that I was wanting to try some feminine products out, but there's so many on the market. Like I said, I had a few reaching out to me, and you just don't know who to trust. And then everybody's body is different. But because these products were highly suggested by so many healthcare professionals, I was like, okay, let me give it a try. So I'm going to show you those products today that they sent me, and I'm going to give my honest review with the exception of a couple, and I'll tell you why when I get to those products. So before we get into those products, I just want to just kind of do a quick recap of what I talked about in that last video. And I'll link it for anybody who maybe missed it and wants to check it out. But I just talked about the importance of maintaining a healthy pH balance when it comes to your V down there, right? So in the body, pH balance is important to maintain, period, right? Because, the more acidic our body is, the more prone it is to infections and things like that. So we want to be more on the alkaline side, okay? But when it comes to the V down there, it's a little bit different, okay? Now the numbers, a normal pH balance, and pH just stands for power of hydrogen or potential of hydrogen. And again, that's a measure of acidity versus alkalinity. And when it comes to the V though, the V is a little bit more acidic than the rest of our body. So while your body's normal pH balance should be somewhere in the sevens, a normal pH for the V down there is actually 3.5 to 4.5, okay? So it's a little bit more on the acidic side, and which is a good thing because that's how we're able to fight off those bad bacteria. Now, what are some things that can throw off your pH balance down there? Now, the main thing is sex, really. Sex is probably the biggest thing that throws off your pH balance down there and makes you more prone to catch yeast infections and bacterial infections. Your cycle is another thing that can throw off your pH balance. You may notice that around the time that you're having your menstrual, maybe right before or maybe right after, you notice that your odor may be a little different than what it normally is. Another thing that can throw your pH balance off is douching. So when you douche, you're getting rid of the good bacteria that's down there. We have good bacteria down there for a reason. The good bacteria is supposed to fight off the bad bacteria. So when you douche and you wipe out the good bacteria, then you're making yourself more easily prone to acquire more bad bacteria. Antibiotics, that's a medication used to treat infections. And so as that antibiotic is treating that infection and fighting off bad bacteria, it can also be killing off your good bacteria as well. And another thing that can do it is stress. Like many people don't realize that, but that can also throw off your pH balance because it throws off our internal chemistry, and that includes our hormones and bacteria, right? And so then if you're having vaginal issues, that's going to add to your stress because, if you're a woman and you've ever had vaginal issues like a yeast infection or bacteria infections, you're already anxious about that anyway. It just throws everything off. And so it's just very important. Our V health is so important because it just affects everything else, right? Our mental affects our V health, and our V health affects our mental. And so it's all so important. So these products that they sent me and these products that I'm going to show you today, these products are essential in helping to maintain pH balance. If you're a woman who maybe struggle with recurring yeast infections and maybe bacteria infections, maybe you've gone to the doctor for it, they can't really seem to find a cause. All they know is to treat it whenever you come in, and then that's it, and you're just kind of stuck, you know, left trying to figure out what's going on. As I mentioned, this product has really great reviews. One of the biggest takeaways I got when researching this company was looking at the reviews and seeing that so many women said that they had been struggling for years with vaginal issues like yeast infections, bacterial infections, unexplained odors, and things like that. And you know, they said after using the products that it seemed to all go away. And because I noticed that this was making such a big impact in so many women's lives, I said, okay, definitely got to partner with this company. So I'm going to go ahead and show you those products. This is the package that it came in. This is a cute package. My favorite color is pink and purple, so I'm a little bit biased anyway, but this is the cute package that everything came in. So I'm going to show you everything. Now, I mentioned that there were a couple products that I could not personally review, and I'll tell you why. So their product, one of their best selling products, one of their main products are these vaginal suppositories here, and I'll just, hopefully that will hopefully that focuses for you. But no worries, I'm going to link all of these products below anyway, and if you use my links you will get a discount on these products. But hopefully you were able to see that. But these are vaginal suppositories. Now again, reviews were excellent on these, but I had noticed that the women reviewing this product, those were the women who struggle with things like yeast infections and bacteria infections. So I realized, okay, I let the company know this isn't something that I can speak on myself personally. And I'll just tell you guys, I talked about this before. I've been abstinent for 7 years now, waiting until marriage. That's a whole other story I can go into detail about later. But anyway, because I've been practicing abstinence all these years, one of those physical benefits was that I don't have any man throwing off my pH balance, you know. And I mentioned some of the things that the other things that throw off pH balance, but I haven't had any of those issues in years and years. So, you know, I said, you know what, send me the products, I'll still, you know, check them out or whatever. And they had some good reviews, so they still sent them, and I do still vouch for these, if even though I have not used them myself, just based on the reviews and based on, you know, things that I've seen the women saying. If you are somebody who struggles with yeast infections or bacteria infections and you're looking for something natural, I do recommend trying out these boric acid suppositories. Like I said, some of the women said that they were struggling with these issues for years. And one thing I want to say, these vaginal suppositories, they do look like oral tablets. So please keep these separate from other medications, just so there's no confusion. Like, one thing I would recommend, maybe keeping these in your bathroom. And like any medication, you want to always keep them out of the reach of children anyway. But you definitely want to keep these away from actual oral medications. And I'll show you how it looks. It even looks like a tablet. So you definitely want to be careful with this. But this is a vaginal suppository, okay? This is not an oral tablet. All right, so I just wanted to make sure I show you that. Now, how do you insert this suppository? They also sent some applicators, okay? Some suppository applicators here. There's a pack of those. Now, how do you use it? If you've ever used a tampon before, then you probably already know how to use it, but you definitely want to be lying flat on your back, right? It's best to lie down when you're doing this because, you know, it's easier to insert it when you're lying back as opposed to standing up. If you're standing up, it's easier for you to, you know, slip it, for it to slip out your hand or drop it. And you definitely don't want to drop it on the floor. This is something you're inserting into your vagina. You want to make sure your hands are clean too. Anytime you're dealing with inserting something into your V, you definitely want to make sure your hands are clean. So these are the suppository applicators, okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, now, you know how they say what goes up must come down? This is why these panty liners are going to be so important, okay? And this is so cute. Now, I mentioned there was a couple of things that I wasn't able to use myself, and that's what I meant. Everything else that I'm about to show you, these are things that I can speak for myself and vouch for myself, because panty liners are something that I still use, right? Now, when you use these suppositories, you know they say what goes up must come down, right? So you definitely want to use a panty liner. So the boric acid suppositories, the instruction says it's used for 7 days. So you want to use it at nighttime, and you know, you definitely want to put on a panty liner because you will have some discharge when you're using those suppositories, okay? So this is when the panty liners are going to, here you go, let's, hopefully that focus is there. So this is when the panty liners are going to come in handy, okay? And then also, even if you aren't using the suppositories, I mean, after your cycle, you know, those few days after your cycle, when you're at the very tail end, you want to use some panty liners, or maybe you're just a person who likes to wear panty liners all the time. These are really great. These are really good. All right, so the next product that I'm going to show you guys is the Feminine Wash. Now, let's see if we can get that. The focus is So Fresh and So Clean Feminine Wash. And I like this because it's fragrance free, but it's also nice and sudsy. So I just feel nice and clean when I use it. And one thing I want to point out, like I did in my last video, because some people don't know this, there is no need for you to insert soap, feminine wash, or any of those things inside of the opening of your V. Why? Because the vagina cleanses itself. But you definitely, of course, want to clean those external areas, right? The vulva, labia, all those good things, right? Definitely want to cleanse that external area, your perineum and everything like that. But you do not need to insert any type of wash, soap, and anything into your actual V opening, okay? Now this wash also contains boric acid. It contains aloe vera and also prebiotics, and it supports odor control, cleanses discharge, and promotes a healthy pH. And this next product that they sent me, I was actually surprised that they sent it because I didn't know it was coming. It was actually right on time, because I was just telling a friend that I wanted to start taking probiotics, but I just didn't know where to start. And literally when this package came and I saw that there were probiotics here, I was so happy because, you know, I felt like, I was like, okay, God, thank you. For those of you that don't know, probiotics are excellent for your immune health. They're excellent for your gut health, your intestinal health, okay? So I was excited when they sent these because, like I said, I'd already been saying that I wanted to take some, and so these were right on time. And probiotics, the way they work, so as you heard me mention, the suppositories, they have prebiotics in them. Now these, and those are vaginal suppositories. Now these oral supplements are probiotics. And what is the difference between the probiotics and the prebiotics? I like the way this one website put it. I can't remember what the website was called, but it said that probiotics adds soldiers to your army, and then prebiotics gives the soldiers the support they need. So basically, probiotics, they add to the good bacteria you already have in your body, and then a prebiotic gives it nutrients for that bacteria to live off of. Now, do you need to take a prebiotic and a probiotic? You know, I'm a healthcare professional, but I'm not a doctor, and I'm not your doctor, so that's up to you to talk to your healthcare provider about. But I do think that it's good to take a probiotic. Now, this probiotic is also a detox and a cleanse here. So the instruction says to take 2 twice a day, preferably with meals, and I've been taking 2 a day. So, you know, I'll give you guys an update later with how things are going. It hasn't been a month yet that I've been taking it, but it has a lot of powerful ingredients. One of those ingredients are oregano leaf extract, and you have lactobacillus, aloe vera, black walnut powder. So there's quite a few ingredients, healthy ingredients in here. And so I, again, will link all of these below. I don't know if this is focusing for you, but I will link all of these below so you can get a special discount. All right, so now I talked about pH balance, right? I talked about how a healthy pH for your V is 3.5 to 4.5. So how do you know what your numbers are? So one way to know is by using these testing strips. Now, I recommend, if you do order these products, I recommend letting this be the first thing you do, right? Test your pH, see where you are. All you do, you just use a little cotton swab, you know, a Q-tip, and just, you know, kind of wipe it across the wall of your V. And then you just put a little, you know, spread on this strip, and then just compare the strip, the color of the strip to the, let's see if we can get that measure here. You just compare the color of your strip to the chart there. Hopefully you can see that. and that'll tell you what your pH is. Now, of course, you want to be between 3.5 and 4.5. If you happen to be in the abnormal range here between 5 and 5.5, then you know your pH is off. And guess what? Maybe using I don't know if you're someone who uses, well, let me just say, this is what I would recommend. Let's say you're one of those people who struggle with bacteria infections or yeast infections. I would say get the strips, test your pH. Most likely it's going to be thrown off if you're struggling with those things. And then use the boric acid for 7 days. It's suppository for 7 days. And then test it again and see what happens. Or maybe if you're like me and you don't have those issues and you just are interested in just maintaining the healthy pH that you have, again, get the products, that interest you here, including the testing strips. So you get the testing strips, go ahead and test it, get your numbers, and then once you've been taking the probiotics for maybe a month or so, and then also maybe you're using a wash or whatever, and just see if your numbers change. Now, I did the testing strips and I was happy to know that it was normal, which I expected anyway. I haven't had any issues. Like I said, I've been abstinent all these years. And so I haven't had any issues with my V health. So my goal for myself is just to maintain a healthy pH, and I hope to continue to do so with these products. So NutriBlast, again, I want to thank you all for sponsoring this video and sending me these products. Like I said, they were right on time. If any of you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below or email me. That'll be listed along with this video as well. And again, if you're interested in any of these products, make sure you use my links because you will get a special discount. All right. Thank you for visiting my channel. Be blessed.